Verstappen, he's hit Vettel as well. Raikkonen is out before the first corner, and he's gone into the red.
Locked up, launched himself off Thierry Boutsen's rear tyre.
Look how he's been passed, and there's another coming together. A car dragging along the Arco, 2, 3 of them out. A flood in the wall will stop the race.
They'll have to red, they'll have to
this
flag
is terrible. Oh, this is quite appalling. This is the worst start for a Grand Prix that I have ever seen in the whole of my life.
Formula One is the pinnacle of speed, precision, and skill. But behind the glamour of podiums and roaring engines lies a darker truth, an era when a single mistake could be fatal, when cars pushed technology to the absolute limit, and when drivers lived on the edge of life and death every lap. This is not just a countdown of crashes. It's a story of ambition, fear, and the human cost of chasing glory at 180 miles per hour.
Oh my goodness! Rubens rear wings off, there goes round.
These are the top 8 Formula One crashes that defined a dangerous era where every corner could be the last and every victory could be overshadowed by tragedy. Strap in, the story begins now. 8. Peter Collins, 1958, French Grand Prix weekend. The 1958 season was steeped in danger, and for Peter Collins, the French Grand Prix at Reims wasn't just a race weekend, it was the start of a downward spiral that would end in tragedy. Collins didn't crash at Reims, at least not physically, but the events he witnessed would haunt him for the rest of his career. During the race, Luigi Musso, Collins' Ferrari teammate, chased victory with a ferocious, almost reckless determination. Musso clipped the limits of his car and lost control, crashing fatally into the gravel and barriers. Collins watched the horror unfold from the pits, a helpless witness to the fragility of life at the highest speeds. The paddock carried on as if nothing had happened. The race continued. The championship continued. But Collins absorbed the shock in silence, a silent trauma that compounded the pressures of driving for Ferrari. Ferrari demanded perfection every lap, every corner, every overtaking move, and Collins felt the weight of those expectations intensify. He returned to his car for practice and qualifying, his sense of urgency growing. Each lap became a mental battle as much as a physical one. His heart raced. Every turn felt sharper, every braking zone narrower. By the time Collins reached the Nürburgring weeks later, he wasn't just racing cars, he was racing against fear, grief, and the relentless awareness that one small mistake could end it all. 7. Jochen Rindt, 1969. Spanish Grand Prix, Montjuic, Barcelona, 1969. A circuit designed for speed, but devoid of mercy. Narrow streets, concrete barriers, and almost zero runoff zones meant that even minor mistakes could turn catastrophic. Jochen Rindt, already uneasy about Lotus's philosophy of extreme speed over safety, suffered a violent accident during practice. The crash left him bruised and battered, a harsh reminder of the razor-thin line between control and disaster. His car had slid wide into a wall, twisting violently as Rindt fought to regain command. The sensation of helplessness, the violent jolt, the sharp impact, the roar of scraping metal lingered in his mind long after the race ended. Despite the pain, Rindt returned to the cockpit. The adrenaline of racing masked the fear, but it didn't erase it. Every corner now carried a seed of doubt. Every overtaking maneuver carried the weight of mortality. The Montjuic incident was a warning when Rindt would not survive the following season at Monza. 6. Luigi Musso, 1958, French Grand Prix. Luigi Musso carried immense pressure on his shoulders. Ferrari's last hope, a talented Italian driver chasing victory not just for glory, but for the survival of the team. At Reims, he pushed his Ferrari to the absolute edge. Attempting a daring overtake on Mike Hawthorne, Musso misjudged the final apex. The car hit a curb, launched, and tumbled across the field. The sound of metal scraping, tires skidding, and the cockpit flipping violently would echo in the minds of everyone watching. Musso was ejected from the cockpit and suffered critical injuries. He survived the initial impact, but bled internally. Hours later, he succumbed to his injuries. The paddock was forced to confront the reality. Speed could be beautiful, thrilling, and deadly. Musso's death was a painful reminder that Formula One left no room for error and that ambition often collided with mortality. 5. Stuart Lewis Evans, 1958 Moroccan Grand Prix. The the season of tragedies continued. Stuart Lewis Evans, a rising star known for both skill and composure, faced his own brush with fate at the Moroccan Grand Prix. In the final stages, his Von Wall's engine catastrophically failed. The rear axle locked instantly, sending the car into a violent spin. He hit the barriers with incredible force, igniting a ferocious fire. Flames engulfed the cockpit, twisting metal and rubber around him. Lewis Evans struggled to escape but was trapped, suffering severe burns before he could be pulled free. He was airlifted back to England alongside Mike Hawthorne, the newly crowned champion. The flight was silent, a grim testament to the thin line separating victory from tragedy. 6 days later, Lewis Evans succumbed to his injuries. His death not only devastated the paddock, but also forced the Van Wall team out of Formula One entirely. The cost of speed had never been clearer. 4. Peter Collins, 1958 German Grand Prix. Just weeks after Musso's death, Peter Collins faced the Nürburgring, a circuit widely regarded as the most demanding and unforgiving track in existence. Stretching over 14 miles, twisting through dense forests, steep hills, and blind corners, the Nürburgring tested stamina, focus, and courage like no other circuit. Collins, still grieving and racing under immense pressure, chased Tony Brooks at full throttle. Approaching the Flensgarten section, he attempted a signature aggressive drift. The car ran wide, struck a ditch, and launched into the air, tumbling end over end. Without seatbelts, Collins was violently ejected, striking a tree and sustaining fatal injuries. The sound of the crashing metal, tearing branches, snapping, and the sickening thud of a human body echoed through the forest. Emergency crews arrived quickly, but the injuries were too severe. Collins' death at just 26 became another tragic marker of 1958, a season that demanded both greatness and grief in equal measure. 3. Peter Revson, 1974. Kyalami testing days were supposed to be controlled, predictable, and safe. But Kyalami in 1974 proved that Formula One offered no guarantees. Peter Revson pushed the Shadow DN3 to its limits during high-speed testing. The front left suspension suddenly failed, causing the car to veer uncontrollably. It struck the barriers with devastating force, crumpling like paper under the impact. The cockpit erupted in flames instantly. Marshals rushed to rescue him, but the fire raged too quickly. Revson's death was instantaneous, leaving the paddock in shock. Testing, a time meant for preparation, had claimed a life. Shadow lost its lead driver. The racing community lost a respected professional, and the world was reminded that danger in Formula One was omnipresent even outside of competition. 2. Joe Siffert, 1971. Victory Race Brands Hatch, 1971 was fast, perilous, and lined with earth banks instead of protective barriers. Joe Siffert, piloting a BRM, had earlier made minor contact that damaged the suspension. At high speed, the car gave way entirely. Siffert's BRM left the track, slammed into an earth bank, and burst into flames. Trapped in the cockpit, he struggled to escape while marshals fumbled with inadequate fire extinguishers. The heat and smoke overwhelmed him before assistance could arrive. Siffert's death forced Formula One to make in-car fire extinguishers mandatory, a small concession to safety made at an enormous human cost. 1. Jochen Rindt, 1970 Italian Grand Prix Monza, 1970. Jochen Rindt arrived leading the championship. Lotus removed wings from the 72 to increase speed, a gamble untested under full practice conditions. Approaching the parabolica at top speed, a brake torsion shaft failed. The car veered violently into the barriers. One collapsed, the Lotus slid underneath, striking a support post. Rindt, lacking proper harness straps, sustained fatal neck injuries. The details of the crash, the violent impact, the car sliding under a barrier, the sudden stop underline the merciless physics of Formula One. Rindt became the only posthumous world champion, a grim symbol of both human ambition and the sport's lethal edge. These 8 crashes are not just incidents, they are cautionary tales of ambition, risk, and the human cost of extreme speed. Every corner, every lap, every race could be fatal. These tragedies forced safety innovations and redefined survival in Formula One, but they remain a solemn reminder that the price of speed is often paid in lives. Formula One evolved, but history never forgets.